Bapanada! Today we're going to take a look at the crest system that we will see in Hollow Knight Silksong, cover all we know about it and speculate about how this system and its individual crests could reflect certain story themes and could also have direct consequences for the story itself. This is the 7th video in my ongoing Let's Talk About Silksong series. You do not have to have seen the others in order to understand this video, but I certainly won't complain if you check out
all the other videos in the playlist and on my entire channel. Give each one a like and a comment, subscribe to my channel, follow my Twitter and Instagram, join my Discord, support me on Patreon, and buy my used bathwater.
Anyway, it's time to start. Let's talk about the crest system in Hollow Knight Silksong. First, we have to talk about how the crest system differs from the charm and notch system from the original Hollow Knight. The original Hollow Knight had charms that we as the player could equip. These charms are equipped using the notches the knight has. These notches can also be upgraded. Additionally, some charms take up more notches than others in order to balance things out. In Silksong, the charms are replaced by tools. These tools are categorized into different subcategories, one which I have discussed in this video. For now, let's just call them red, yellow and blue. And instead of notches, we now have crests that can be interchanged. One of these crests, for example, can only carry one of each of the subcategories. Others can, for example, carry two of each, as seen with the Reaper's crest. Let's take a quick look at how the crest system scaling and balancing could work before we then jump into a single thing I have not seen mentioned before at all by anyone basically, although it is literally right in front of our noses. Everything that follows is pure speculation galore, so please buckle up and enjoy the ride. Just as a heads up, Team Cherry have stated in the Edge article that came out in December 2020 that there is more to the crest and tool system than we know right now. So let's get into it and see if we can find something out. As we see here, we got the Wanderer's crest right here, which is the one we are likely starting off with. Later on though, a crest such as the Reaper's crest is just plain better. It is like playing Cyberpunk 2077 and then finding out about Cyberprank 2069, and after you have tried the latter, there's no single reason to go back to the first. Now, how could the progression system for these crests go down? There are two ways that come to mind. The first being that we just change around the crests whenever we want to, or at least when sitting on a bench. Certain crests are just better than others though, but some crests might still be better in certain situations, like a crest that allows 1 red and 5 blue tools instead of 2 red, 2 blue and 2 yellow ones as seen in the Reaper's crest. This way we could use different crests in different situations, but it would still leave other crests such as the Wanderer's crest as basically useless after the early game, since we know that it is just simply outclassed by the Reaper's crest, except if the Reaper's crest has some kind of downside to it that we do not know about yet. But as it stands, the Reaper's crest is just better, making the Wanderer's crest useless, which is not something I see Team Cherry encouraging. I think the second way is more likely, that being that we can still equip each crest any way we want to, as mentioned before, but the crests can also be upgraded individually. Imagine like 2, 3 or more base crests that you find throughout the game that you can upgrade and make stronger. Like compared to the old nail in Hollow Knight that can be upgraded to the pure nail. You might upgrade the Wanderer's crest to a stronger one later in the game, making it usable again. This way there would be a number of base crests that could have their own little skill trees, with 2 or 3 upgrades each, for example. Now, let's go on to the thing almost no one has talked about yet. This little thing in the middle here. This really looks like a forward thrust attack to me. So, since there seems to be no way to equip or unequip this ability, I feel like this is something this crest comes with. So, somewhere, somehow, we get this crest and maybe the ability is built into it. That kind of ability reminds me of the nail arts from Hollow Knight, which brings us to the next topic. How will we acquire these crests? To answer this question, We must first look at what the meaning of the word is. A crest is the curling, foamy top of a wave. Oh, and also a formal design that is used by family, town, organization, etc. as the symbol that represents them, I guess. Jokes aside, these crests might be given to us by bugs whose trust we have earned. So the role that the Nail Masters had in the first game could be given to characters that have more in common with, for example, the Mantis Lords, meaning that we may earn their respect by fighting them in order to become part of their clan or group or whatever, and then get a crest with a built-in ability. Carmelita, the Ant Queen, might be a good fit for such a role. However, fighting may not be the only way in which we could get such a crest. You could also get such a crest by, for example, subscribing to the channel if you have enjoyed this video so far, since not even a third of my viewers are subscribed apparently. Another way that we could get a crest is by just joining a community or visiting a town. I do not believe that Hornet starts out with a crest immediately, because why would she have one already? It's more likely that, for example, this character, that I think will also teach us about songs, may also welcome us into the community of Bonebottom, which we know is the opening town of Silksong. Therefore, it would be a fitting place to give us the Wanderer's Crest, because, well, at this point we are nothing but wanderers to them. The only thing that I can come up with, which makes this theory a bit more unlikely, is that the design of that particular crest looks more like something a different character would give us. Someone that looks fiercer than the bugs of Bonebottom. Because while the name Wanderer would be fitting in a way, since I think that the characters of Bonebottom would like to welcome wanderers and refugees and all kinds of bugs, the design itself doesn't seem to be something that these bugs would create. They would make something more akin to this, I think. Either way, a crest system like this could also play into the socio-political aspects of pharloom. I know how unlikely this whole theory is, but if I'm going to do this video, I'm going to do it all the way. For example, maybe having a certain crest equipped might unlock certain areas, as for example a gatekeeper could let us into certain locations if we wear certain crests. But also wearing a certain crest during certain conversations could lead to different outcomes. Because if what I think is true, and these crests are literal, well, crests, it could imply that we are literally wearing who we are affiliated with on our clothes. Which could mean that in certain situations, and believe me, I know how often I'm saying certain in this video, and for example, but I'm not apologizing. In certain where was I? Okay, in certain situations, even if Hornet can talk and try to get out of the situation peacefully, it could lead to us triggering a boss fight, for example. One way this could work is by wearing what I have called the Weaver or Beast Crest, which is teased here. The signature 6 eyes are representative of the Weavers that we have seen so little of in Hellenist, but will play a more prominent role in pharloom. By wearing a crest that represents the Weavers, we could become friends or enemies with whole groups or communities of pharloom. Especially this crest could have huge implications for the story and could lead to extreme reactions by other characters, especially given that Silksong's story will probably largely revolve around what happened to the Weavers. Of course, as I've said, all of this is still very unlikely. All of these things require a huge amount of work in order to be done the way I described it, so please do not expect this to be how this part of Silksong is gonna go down. But no matter how this plays out, we know that crests will play a bigger role in Silksong than the Charm and Notch system did in Hollow Knight, and will certainly be very important to Hornet's journey. And now, let's come to an end using the words of Jen Simpkins, the writer who interviewed Team Cherry for Edge magazine. The idea of crests she can try on, almost as identities from past lives, perhaps implies the idea of her getting in touch with her lineage. For all that Hornet appears to be an outsider, we get the strange feeling that the mastery of Silk also suggests a kind of homecoming. Thanks for watching this video. I got a lot more coming, so please stay here and join this community if you want. There's also a Q&A video for Hollow Knight, the Sanctuary coming up, so that will be exciting for many of you, I hope. And that said, thanks to my 4 beautiful Patreons for supporting me, and I also changed around the tiers on my page a bit if you want to check it out. And yeah, that's it for today. Stay safe and bye panada.